I have been playing Jeff Minter's latest game. It is called Tempest 4000. Now, you've probably heard Jeff Minter has made games with the Tempest moniker in the past. Anybody that's played the Atari Jaguar will fondly remember how awesome Tempest 2000 was and how seminal that cartridge was for that particular console. He has, dabbled in this arcadey world a few times since then. There was a Tempest 3000. Tempest 4000 is a 4K displaying beautiful EDM-rich arcade shooter in the vein of the classic Atari arcade game Tempest, which was a vector-based game, and you just shot down these webs. It's a pretty rudimentary game to explain. You just blast at the bad guys that are coming up to get you. What Minter did through his iterations on the Tempest brand is he's added a lot of power-ups, and he's added a lot of funk, and he's added a lot of amazing non sequiturs and little comments and things like that as you pass through each of these webs and are challenged by more difficult enemies and unlock little bits of fun within this experience. One of the things that popped up as I beat a web was, "You won clean underpants." So he's got certainly a British sensibility about him. His company's called Llamasoft, and he always has llamas in his work. And you can hear the occasional braying of llamas in here. You also get in one of the weird, trippy warp zone sequences, you get a woman going, "Oh, yes, yeah." And I was streaming that last night. I wanted everybody to see that as I was streaming it. And it's very sexual, and it's very weird because you're going through these tubes and you're hearing this, "Yes, yeah." But that's the kind of weird game it is. And the whole time you're dancing and you're playing with the thing and you're having to grapple with the mechanics of moving your little spider guy or whatever, your little dude, your little zapper person. I don't know what the creature is, but it's crawling along the outside of the web, shooting down the thing, and you have to deal with, when you are upside down, the mechanics of how you control change up a little bit. It's not just a side-to-side kind of shooter. You're dealing with a 360-degree circumference, and the webs are all, weirdly shaped on purpose to challenge the way that you're going to be mobile across the webs. And if you get some help, it's not just like, "Oh my God, there's too many of them." You get AI drones that will help you and blast away at things. You'll be able to augment your weaponry and level up to maximum bullets, which will just strafe all kinds of bad guys really quickly. The best power-up is the jump ability, which to my ears last night as I was playing it really reminded me of the Pitfall Man jump. Which was hilarious. There are lots of Atari, pokes in this game. Lots of things that pop up that remind us of the old days. One of the levels I think is called Circus Atari, and it's just it's a love letter to the Tempest franchise. It's now a pretty long-lasting franchise. It's a love letter to classic arcade games and that kind of addiction. And high scores play a big part in this game because it's really just about sort of eking out a little bit further. You can get a little bit further, and of course you can start at, on one of the modes. I think the classic mode, you can start from a higher level depending on the levels that you've unlocked, but you're always just trying to incrementally get a little bit better at the game, and then you see how your score stacks up with the other scores around the world and your friends list and stuff. I don't know if this is a game that's going to be for everybody, and to be honest, it's amazing, but it's certainly, for me, but it's certainly not a state-of-the-art Tempest experience in 2018. It feels still a little garage bandy, or like garage made in some ways, like the way that the music is a little bit clumsily stitched together. It's not one seamless sort of like transitional thing right into the next piece of music or whatever. All of the classic music is in there though, which is great, and it really brings me back to the day, but I feel like I'm trying to recapture a nostalgic kind of escape as opposed to being overwhelmed by the imagination and the beauty of this new endeavor, and I feel like that's kind of what you want. Like when you look at the Shadow of the Colossus reimagining for the PlayStation 4, you kind of want that level of scrutiny over the way that the game has been developed to kind of bring in new players and just blow their brains, but also to, make everybody that's been along for the ride for this whole time just say, oh my God, we've reached another level. Now, it's amazing that I've got this running on my 4K OLED screen, and I crank up the volume and it sounds great, and you zen into this experience. All of that stuff is still there. There are also, there's a survival mode, and there's a classic mode, and there's a pure mode, which will change the amount of lives that you get and sort of challenge you on how long you can survive and persist. And then, yes, you're always looking at those high score marks and stuff. I really hope that there's a VR upgrade for this for the PlayStation 4. It would seem silly that there wouldn't be. Minter's already done a PSVR arcade experience. I think it's called Palabius, which Nine Inch Nails used in one of their last videos, which is crazy. Listen, I love this thing, but I have to put a caveat in there that I don't know if this is going to be for everybody. I think it's, for those of us that love old arcade games. So if you're in that camp, you're going to dig this. Or for those of us that have fond memories of Tempest 2000 for the Atari Jaguar. And I was surprised to see and happy to see that many of the people that I was streaming with last night, Abby Jameson, were talking about the old Atari days and had great, the Jaguar days, and had great memories of Tempest 2000. Do I think it's as seminal and as important and as life-changing as Tempest 2000 was for me? No. But I sure love that it's in my library. I think that probably the smart move, if you're intrigued by this game, is to wait till it drops in price a little bit, or there's a VR upgrade, or there's some kind of new patches of new modes or new content in there. But you know what? With those caveats and with you kind of assessing your own interest in all of this, I still think you're going to have a very fun time if you give this game some time. I'm going to give Tempest 4000 an 8 out of 10.